Yeah, my goodness, to go from 0 to 52 in 1 week is something. And you mentioned the argument of Dillon Gabriel not being the best quarterback in the country, being the most valuable player to a unit in the country when Sam Hartman of Wake Forest had his medical issue. I made the statement that in kind of assessing the landscape of college football, at least at that point, I said, I'm not going to make a claim that this is the best quarterback in the country. He's probably in the top 5 to 15, somewhere in that range. But he accounted for 51 touchdowns last year. And just looking at the way the Wake Forest program and this particular team has been built, it is so reliant on the passing game. The defense isn't that good. The running game's just okay, that it's all about him throwing the ball to those receivers. You take him away. And I made the statement that this guy, I think, is the most valuable player in college football. Now, he's been able, fortunately, to come back from a couple games away, wasn't gone for long, and was able to get back in the groove. But you make a great case about Dillon Gabriel, considering what we saw against TCU after he left. And then, of course, mostly the Texas game, which Texas has a lot of talent, but they're not shutting anybody else out or coming anywhere close to that. So the big goose egg on the board versus Dillon Gabriel. And again, the disparity between the production of a Dillon Gabriel and the rest of the quarterback room is just something that's going to have to be addressed, of course, whether it's Nick Evers becomes that guy or, continued recruiting, transfer portal additions, that you can't have a situation where the backups are incapable.
No, you're absolutely right, Mark. And I think, what Oklahoma was able to put out there against Texas, to your point, was just, just really egregious and quite frankly kind of embarrassing for the program to, to not be able to play quarterback in such a way that you only throw for 36 or 38 yards in that game, but you were certainly much what you're accustomed to. And so, yeah, I think that's probably the plan moving forward, Mark. You've got Nick Evers next year. Obviously, hopefully he's a little bit more seasoned, understands the offense and is a little bit, just a year of learning. And then you got Jackson Arnold coming in. Certainly as one of the best quarterbacks in the country in the high school ranks this year. So, I mean, I think you bank on those two guys, and, I would, obviously it's going to be up in the air how Dillon Gabriel's last 5 games go, but based on, kind of the way he's played this year, I would be surprised if he's not back in Norman next year. I don't know that necessarily he's done himself any huge favors at the next level, right? So, but I don't know what really he could do to make that. But I think the quarterback room, you've got to assume it will be much better next year. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see maybe a couple of guys hit the portal from this team and go somewhere where they might, be able to play, whether it be kind of more of a mid-major or what that looks like. But yeah, no, it's very, very important for Oklahoma to be able to solidify that that position group on the offensive side of the ball, because as we've seen, over the last 5 to 10 years, yeah, defense wins championships, but you have to have an elite level quarterback to be able to win playoff games and obviously win a national championship. And Oklahoma is probably not. I mean, they're obviously not quite there holistically, but I think offensively, you've got to be able to absorb some things like that from time to time in a year. And Oklahoma's not in a position where they can absorb any kind of injuries at the quarterback position.